Welcome. It is Brian. I'm just trying to, there we go. Hey there, it's Brian. It is Thursday, September 22nd, just 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Pacific Time. And this is the Managed Comics Thoughtstream. And you're here today to watch a demo that is literally fresh off the press. It was just completed I think 30 seconds before 3 p.m. So yeah, I've still got to put a music bed underneath it. So the version you're getting right now won't have music, but I think it's pretty good still. So I don't think I'm going to waste a whole lot of time talking about anything other than this demo. So why don't we just get right to it? I will be here at the end of the demo to answer any questions you guys have. And if you have questions, please feel free to ask them during the demo. And we'll get to them at the end. So the way that I usually do these, I've recorded this previously. Just we've done them live before, and it can be anything from an internet hiccup to me just stumbling. So I just find this works a lot better if we pre-record the video here and share it with you guys, and then if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. But without any further delay, push that button. Welcome to Managed Comics. Managed Comics is here to turn your entire website into a tool for selling subscriptions. So things like Superman Son of Kal-El here has a subscribe to series button on it. That page takes you into the Managed Comics area of your site, which is embedded directly into your site. A customer can log in and then subscribe or modify their subscription, including updating upcoming pre-ordered covers, for example. This will give them a little notice that lets them know that they're adding to their existing subscription. But overall, a customer can really control what it is they subscribe to. They can also individually drill down to a publisher, for example, Boom Studios here. And when I get into Boom Studios, I can pull up the all new Firefly listing. I can pre-order individual covers, or I can subscribe to the entire series. Everything's based on the FOC, by the way, so you won't get stuck with ordering things that have already come out. So I can pre-order the A cover, and then as a customer, I can also subscribe to the B cover. And I get notifications on the page and also in my subscriptions area, letting me know what I am pre-ordered to and what I've subscribed to. You'll see these red things. That's something that the customer has deleted or stopped their subscription for, but it's still going to pull it until the FOC date has passed. So once that issue, which has an FOC date of September 11th, comes out, then and only then will that subscription be removed. You'll see things like ratioed variance, and those things are all things that have settings on the back end for you to manage and also require approval. When it comes to last calls and FOCs, your customer has the opportunity to get in there and actually see what they have kind of last call chances to order. So things like this hardcover are not available after the FOC or last call date to be pre-ordered by the customer. Release dates lets a customer go back in time a little bit and see things that were released previously, and it shows the current week and a few of the upcoming weeks as well. We also have your monthly catalogs, which means a customer can get right in and take a look at the individual titles and issues that are coming out in the upcoming months. So they'll actually see upcoming issues as well as the current one. Browsing by type will let your customer get in there and see the different varieties of types of products that you have to offer. This stuff is all configurable by you on the back end as well. Let's jump right into some of the Managed Comics settings. First of all, we're going to go through a couple of the simple settings. The button preview will let you actually get in and choose which current theme you're using. Once you know that, you can also adjust the text color, the button color, the background color, border color. These are all available both through hex codes and through the individual little slider things there. You can change your subscription terms of service, which is a button that pops up, change discount settings, tags, including writer, artists, and a bunch of other ones, ratio variants. So you could actually set it so that no ratio variants are available, or all, or even specific types of variants. Publishers lets you change not only which publishers are available, but which distributors you use for both comics and for TPBs. Product types lets you choose which products to show, which not to show, and you can also change the manual collections that they're belonging to, which is sometimes useful for setting certain taxes and tax rates. And finally, the email settings will let you get in and change your email logo. So if you go to your website and you right click on it and you choose copy image address and you paste that image address into this box, that will get you the new logo. Also, you can change your background color. So you can either change the hex code or use the little slider doohickey, which you can change things, and you can also change the link color. All these kind of preview elements are visible in the left-hand side. So as you change your link color, you'll see it get reflected over there. You can change the reply to email as well as your store name, and you'll see all of this stuff get reflected, including like if I change this to, say, example shop, you'll see that get changed. And so when that email comes in, it's now going to come from example shop. I can also change my email address, but I'm just going to flip these all back to normal and save this and get out of here. Now, adding a customer to Manage Comics is quite simple, and you do it through the Shopify interface rather than through Manage Comics. So you're going to create a customer here, and you just go through the usual steps of creating first name, last name, and the email. You don't have to add an email, although we highly recommend that you do. You can also add in their address and all that good stuff as well. Once you've saved that customer, it will take a few seconds for the customer to show up in Manage Comics. We find it takes between 10 to 30 seconds. So you may have to refresh Manage Comics to find that person. But doing a search for Bob Smith here gives us the results of Bob Smith. And then I can add a subscription to Bob Smith. So in this case, I'm going to add Batman, and it actually allows me to choose which cover. You can only subscribe to the A and B covers just for a variety of reasons. From there, I can actually edit a customer. So I can get into their customer editing section, and I can change items in the customer. Now, editing a customer's subscription from Manage Comics will let you get into an individual customer. You can see items that they're already subscribed to. So I can check out and see what he's already subscribed to. This is Ben Grimm. He's already got Fantastic Four, but let's say I want to subscribe him to the new Fantastic Four series. Well, it's pretty simple. I just search for that title, find the A cover, and subscribe to it. And once I've found Fantastic Four, I know this is the new Fantastic Four series, and it's got things like FOC and release dates on it. So now Ben Grimm is signed up for Fantastic Four #1. Cloning subscriptions will let you get in there and really quickly take something that already exists and add customers to it. So if you have a subscription for Batman White Knight Presents Harley Quinn and you want to clone all your subscriptions from the previous White Knight series, you can just type in White Knight. It'll find previous ones and clone all those customers now into that version of the title. So we suddenly have 9 customers subscribed to it. So it makes it really easy when a new title starts. You're going to get an email letting you know that pre-orders are awaiting approval. So when you get those emails, you can go into Manage Comics, and this is kind of a daily task that you'll do maybe multiple times a day. For simple things that, you know, the price is right and it's something you can easily order, you can just simply approve those items. And when you approve them, they don't go through any secondary process. The customer knows that item has been approved. If you need to make it discount exempt or even change the pricing on an item, you can do that, and you leave them a note to let them know what's happened with that product. And then you can actually send that'll get sent to the customer. They'll get an email a couple times a day. Those emails go out, and it will also show up on their My Subscriptions area. Also, declining a pre-order requires a reason, so the customer knows that there's a specific reason why this pre-order was declined. It might be you can't order it. It could be that you don't have enough copies of it. So on the My Subscriptions area in a customer view, they'll see things that have been declined with the reason. They'll also see the approvals with reasons, so they understand what it is that they're accepting and why the price has changed. Once you have cleared out all your customer activity every day, this screen will be completely blank. Adding a single item to your store is relatively easy. You just click on check-in and then the find additional items. You can enter in the SKU, as in the diamond or lunar code, or the UPC code if it's a Penguin Random House item, or anything that has a UPC code or ISBN. You update the quantity, you can change the price if you want, and the cost if your cost is different than our estimated cost. And then once you have figured out that item, you can also add other items by adding a different SKU. So again, we're going to say the quantity that we want to add to this is going to be 2, and we like the price and the cost. Once we're done, now this is going to go through the regular pulls process, which means that it will actually check and see if any items in your pull lists need to be pulled. In this case, there are no subscribers waiting for copies for either of these 2 books. So I can just keep on going on here. If there were, I could check the little pull box there. If that was anything other than a 0, that would be available for me to pull. So since it's a 0, I'm just going to click the next button any second here. And here's what I'm going to pull. The quantities are there, and I could change when this is going to be available. And in a few seconds, this will actually arrive in the Shopify products. So if I go to Shopify products and then I sort by most recently created, and if I click on Young Justice here, I'll see Young Justice with all of its quantities and cost, price, etc. All the tags and everything have been created for me. Now, checking in my weekly shipment requires a little bit more information. So I'm going to click on check-in, and then I click on start over, which is going to put me into the file download area. So I can just bring in this case, I'm going to bring in a lunar invoice. Actually, that's a diamond invoice, sorry. I can bring in diamond, lunar, and Penguin Random House invoices. And so the first step is that it identifies all the products that are in that download, and I can confirm how many copies I actually received physically in my hand. So I can go through and change things. If I didn't get 10 copies there, I only got 8. I can also adjust damages and things like that as well. So in this case, I got 2 of them damaged. So I'm going to identify that I only received 28 because 2 were damaged. This is letting me know these are the items that will be pulled for me because I have subscribers who are subscribed to these series. So you'll see the little check marks next to those individual products. And I just say next on this. I can go in and update the images on certain things. In this case, the DC Connects, I won't, and I'll actually not import those at all because they're not something I want in my store. I can do things like adding tags for new releases. I can change the image if an image is missing. So I can either change it through URL or through a photo. And so in this case, I'm going to add a new release tag here to let me actually see all the titles that were released this week. Last step is to review and confirm and make sure that that I'm comfortable with the date that they're going to appear on site. And then it immediately creates a pull list for me so that I can set those books aside for the people that I need to set them aside for. It takes a few minutes for the products and the orders to get created. It can take up to an hour, depending on how many products you have. And you'll start to see them arrive in your store. Again, those products are going to have an image. They've got your description, your title. They have all your type and vendor information, all of your tags. And those tags are based on what we set up. And then the SKU and the barcode, pricing, and cost per item. Cost per item is one of the last things that gets populated, and it gets populated after all of the quantities have been populated. That's just the way that Shopify does things, unfortunately. So now we've got these products actually arriving, and we can invoice our customers for their books. So I can pop into an individual customer's order, or I can search for orders. In this particular case, I am going to look at somebody by their full name. I can also look at them by searching for somebody. So if I want to look for Brian Garside, I can pull up his order, and I can see the dates that things were pulled. So if there's street dates that I can't invoice things for, I can always do that as well. If I only want to invoice a portion of the order, I can do that. So let's say that the one title I can't invoice right now due to street dates, that's fine as well. But then I can go ahead and invoice those selected items, and that will actually create a draft invoice in Shopify that the customer can then find in their build orders, and they'll also get an email letting them know. Sorry, I just have to refresh this page because I was already on it. So now this is the order that I can pay for, and I can go ahead and click the pay for my order as a customer and go through the entire payment process. Weekly emails are something I'm going to send out once a week to let my customers know what has arrived for them. These emails will only go out to the individual customers who actually have subscriptions. So I'll create a new campaign and I'll choose pulls. I can change the subject line a little bit if I want to. By default, it's like kind of the last 7 days of calendar days. If you do change it in the calendar information here, then you will have to change your pulls subject line just because it doesn't automatically change. So I can write some information in here, and this email will only go out to the number of people who had items pulled for them. So in this case, it's going to go out to, it looks like 10 people. So I think my overall list has 21, and of those 21 people, 10 people had things pulled for them. And so an email goes out to 10 individual people. And that email, it looks exactly like it does when you see it there. So yeah, that's the difference there. It was 22 people is my regular email list, and only 10 of them are going to get the pulls email this week. Now, I can also send a monthly previews email letting people know about the new titles that were created for them or on the site. So this can be something that lets them know about specific things that you want to do, that you really want to promote, things that you feel passionate about, or that you know that a lot of people will like. Boom, and that's the miracle of editing. So we've added some words here. We can go ahead and link things in. We can even transform it more and add, titles, bold things, and really make it look great. And then we can create this and send it out to all of our people. We can go back in and edit it and change anything we want to. Just review it one last time. And then finally, when we're ready to send it, we can send it. And that email goes out to 22 people. In the future, we can also clone an email that already existed. So we can go into that email that previously existed, we make a duplicate of it, and then we can get in and change or edit anything that we want to change. So we could turn the August listing into a September listing relatively easy. And if there's certain things that we kind of template so that we always want to have, a top that's relatively similar that has the same links and things like that, it's very, very easy to do that and create a new email in seconds rather than taking all that time to redo effort that we've already done previously. All right, and finally, we're going to take a look at creating initial orders. Initial orders are really easy to do with Manage Comics, so I can go ahead and pull up the August initial order for Diamond in this case. I can refresh my orders, which is always a good kind of habit to get in, go to the bottom and refresh the orders because that will pull in anything current that is outstanding. I can change my shelf copies. I can take a look at just things that have subscriptions, so quantities with orders, items with orders. If I want to take a look at anything that I want to reserve, so shelf quantities, that will show up as a separate thing. And I can also just see everything with quantity, which is both shelf and orders. I can change publishers, or the types of items I want to look at. If I just want to look at comics from Archie, I can take a look at those, quickly get my Archie orders done and figure out what I want on the shelf for those. So I can go individual publisher, or I can go by product type. So all the comics, for example, or just the Archie trade paperbacks, if that's a thing that month. So yeah, this lets me really quickly kind of go through and update my orders for what I want to order every month, by publisher, by type, etc. So we can see there's every publisher that we have in our publishers options here available for you as well. So once I'm happy with my order, I've got a couple different options. I can download a CSV report, which is basically an output of this same kind of thing with all the quantities that I've created here. The other thing I can do is download a Diamond upload file. So the Diamond upload file is a file that you use on the Diamond website. So you go to orders, initial orders, and then you upload the file through their little file uploader. Once you've uploaded your file, you're going to want to make sure that you review everything just to make sure that nothing got lost in the translation. So you'll just go through and do a quick review and make sure everything looks good to you. And if it does, you're done your initial order. Now just do it for Penguin Random House and Lunar. So where do you go for help? So if you click on the left-hand side, there's a little help icon, and clicking that will get you through to our help portal. We have so much different help, including all the walkthroughs and workflows that will get you through the things you do on a daily basis. So if you use the search and look for check-in, you'll find a bunch of different things that will help you get that done. So that is Manage Comics. You can always reach us at help@managecomics.com, and we hope you enjoy the experience of Manage Comics. Hey, I'm back. All right, so if anybody's got any questions, now would be a great time to bring them up. That was 25 minutes of drinking through the fire hose, so I understand if people are a little bit overwhelmed. So going through the whole system again today, just a couple little things I really want to tweak. I look at the email stuff, and I think we could start adding some variables in there, which would make things a little bit easier to like if there was a variable for shipping week, we could actually fairly easily change the shipping week, and then it would just kind of roll through. So yeah, I'm hoping we get done a couple of our big projects in the next few weeks, and then we can just work on a bunch of kind of quality of life things, because there's so many little things that I think make big differences when they add up. I'm gonna give you guys about 10 seconds to ask me my first question, because if nobody does, I'm gonna wrap her up for the week. Like I said, I basically spent the last 4 hours recording voiceovers, so my voice is a little tired. And I'm still trying to get a handle on this darn microphone. I got a new microphone, and it's just running really hot. So I can sit here and play with some microphone settings if we're done for the week. So I'm not seeing any questions. I'm just going to assume the only people that are here are my mom, and it's just me talking to my mom. If you're watching this on archive, that is the saddest thing that you've ever heard. I know. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this week. If you have any questions, in the meantime, hit us up at help@managedcomics.com. We will be back next week with our office hours, where I'm hoping to get some questions. I know I'll have questions that have been asked over the last month that we'll definitely include. Some of those questions are going to be around data and what's going on with data. Next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, I have my monthly call with Penguin Random House. So if you guys have got any questions beforehand about Penguin Random House, feel free to shoot those to me, and I can ask Penguin Random House about some data questions. Cryptic Cove. Good afternoon, Brian. Good stuff. Appreciate all the info. It's good heading up to our launch. Yeah, looking forward to working with you guys. Like I said, if you have any questions, help@managedcomics.com is where you'll go to get your answers. And you can also send, help.managedcomics.com is where our URL is, but we also have help@managedcomics.com, the email address, which is where you can ask questions and get info from us. All right, folks, thank you so much for your time this week. I hope you enjoyed the complete walkthrough, and yeah, I'll be editing that a little bit more. There's a couple pieces that I want to get in there. I'd like to get some info about final order cutoff in there, and there was one other thing I thought I can kind of tweak and adjust a little bit, and then I'll throw a music bed down underneath it, and we'll send out a link to kind of the full demo, which is definitely very cool. And I'm hoping by next week, I've got some really good news about the point of sale. We're at the very, very final stages with it. We found a bunch of little things that were caused by the back and forth communication between Managed Comics and Shopify, but we've kind of hit those bugs out of the park now as well. So yeah, it's onward and upward, and we will get those things back into Shopify's hands and get them to approve the app fairly quickly. Since it's an unlisted app, it should be relatively quick for us to get this approved and through the final stages. So once we nail this last little bit, you'll be hearing a lot more about that next week as well. All right, folks, thank you so much for your time, and we will talk to you next week.